incumbent governor retained his seat, the opposition party, People's Democratic Party and Labour Party, were not impressed with the election conduct in the state. Both opposition parties have requested to inspect the electoral materials that were used during the election. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss how far they have gone with their investigations on the just concluded election is Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, aka Jandor, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Right. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Well, as they say, our market
is very,
I mean, the election is over, and I see that you filed a petition with the Lagos State Election Petition Tribunal. And the main grounds of your petition, you are saying that Governor Babajide Sanwo Olu, his deputy Obafemi Hamzat, and also the Labour candidate, Labour Party candidate, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, were not qualified. I have an issue to even take part in that election. That seems to be the main ground. And having disqualified these persons, you are asking that the tribunal should declare you the winner. The focus is on disqualification. You are not talking about process?
No, it's a process. Let's start with that. The entire election is a process. It's a process that started last year. The process that started from when INEC issued a timetable to say we'll be having 2023 election, so dates. And there are other processes leading to the day of the election, which are position of the law that every political party must adhere strictly to. For us, immediately after the election, I had a press conference to say it's a process. It doesn't stop there, which means that the last pronouncement on 2023 election hasn't been made yet. Okay? And so we have to follow the process through. So what is it that we file in our petition? As far as we are concerned, yes, of course, we've spoken about the suppression, we've spoken about the widespread violence during the March 18th gubernatorial election, especially in Lagos State, where I contested. We've been able to berate every player, in that axis. But in our petition, we're not going into the rigorous of checking what are the numbers, who does what in terms of padding and all of that. But what we're looking at, and it's because we have been following the process since last year, and we have picked holes in some of the things that other political parties have done that got them the ticket of their party in the first place in terms of nomination, because there is a constitutional provisions which spoke about how to be properly nominated. So for APC and their candidates, these are the grounds that we are challenging their nomination. The Electoral Act stipulates that for a primary election, Congress's convention to be held by any political party, there must be a 21-day notice from the national headquarters of that party to the INEC chairman in Abuja. That notice must include the dates of the meeting or convention or primaries or whatever, and venue to say this is what we are going to be having. Okay. And that notice must be signed by the national chairman of the party and the national secretary. So first, in this that was released by APC to INEC, they didn't comply to that at first. Also, the state chapter of a political party under law has no business whatsoever in notifying INEC of their primaries or convention or what have you. But the Lagos State chapter did a letter signed by the chairman of Lagos State chapter of the APC and his secretary to REC of Lagos, notifying them of the venue for the primaries, date for the primaries, time, including members of the electioneering committee for that primary signed by the state chairman. There is already a prima facie on this matter to say that any primary conducted by a state chapter of a party is null and void. So this is one ground. This is another ground. The third ground is that the candidate of APC, which is Mr. Babajide Sanwo Olu, was not properly nominated based on those primaries and all of those is flawed. Again, when we requested for his Form EC9 that is submitted to INEC as candidate of the party, because after the primary, you are given a Form EC9 where you put all your particulars, and there is a declaration page, which is the last page, where you under oath and endorsed and all of that. We discovered that in the portion where they have school attended with dates and all of that, where you put it there, and in brackets, there is a saying that all evidences of whatever claims you have made must be attached to this. So he said he wrote WAEC 1981. And we discovered that he did not attach this certificate, the WAEC certificate, into that form. So that sparked up some sort of curiosity. And we decided to look why. So what we then did was to order requests for the CTC of his 2019 examination, 2019 from CF001. That's what it's called then. In that form, we then discovered that he made the same claim of writing WAEC 1981, but then attached a statement of results from Ijebu-Ife Community Grammar School. That, okay, in the WAEC that he sat for, and this is what you have. And that statement of results, we have a WAEC number, the examination number, and the seat number all together. So what we did was to approach WAEC. Say, okay, we have this statement of results purported to have emanated with the examination number, purported to have emanated from you, and we need to verify whether or not this candidate actually sat for WAEC. And WAEC did say to us that, look, we have simplified the issue of result verification, okay, because we can't continue to have embassies or the institution coming to write us for some. So what we now have is a scratch card. Anybody can buy the scratch card. Embassies now use the scratch card. Institutions now use the scratch card to impute the numbers that you have there. When you have the scratch card, you'll be able to open a portal, put the scratch card, put the examination number as claimed by the candidate, the year and everything, and it will pop up and give you the results. Of course, we know about the scratch card. So we got the scratch card and put everything in there, and we discovered that the result was null and void. It came back as not, there's no result.
He didn't see
nothing for that candidate.
Or at least in that school.
In that, according to INEC reports. Okay. So we tried, of course, I put the same card with my own, it pop up immediately, others and others. So that's why the result, because the petition is now a public document, the result is there, the WAEC number is there, anybody can buy a scratch card and begin to check whether or not this is it. And that's what we got. So that already has said something about him lying on oath that he sat for that exam that he didn't sit for. The fourth ground for APC is that the Form EC9 that is given to you, where you have your particulars and everything, which was given to the Deputy Governor, Obafemi Hamzat, in this election, filled everything, even though he also filled WAEC 81, he did also attach his WAEC certificates. But I mean, but when we called for his own 2019, we saw a WAEC certificate, but the number, there was a stamp on the number, so we couldn't verify, so we left that one. But his own form, after filling it, the declaration page of that form, which is the oath page, which is the only page that gives life to that form, as submitted to INEC, was omitted. Which means that, I mean, without that page, I'm sure Dr. Abati, who is a lawyer, knows that the entire paper is worthless, because that is the only page that gives life to all the claims you have made in that place. So also submitted without the declaration post page. And for us, because we know that they submitted late, that oath page would have exposed that they didn't submit within the time frame as given by the Electoral Act, which is 180 days before election. So on that ground, the fourth ground shows that we were not properly, ad initio, not even qualified to be part of the process of March 18 that we went for. On the other side, which is the fifth respondent now, which is Labour Party candidates.
Yes.
Sixth respondent Labour Party. First is to look at the claim when they were having their internal crisis within the Labour Party, a document which you also have access to, and also part of the petition, is that architect Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour claimed under oath that he joined Labour Party on the 18th of June, under oath. You know, it's a court document, which we have. However, on the 19th of June, the same architect, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, wrote a letter signed by him on his letterhead to be the deputy governorship candidate of PDP on the 19th of June. On the 22nd of June, the same Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour went to Wadata House, which is PDP National Secretariat, to be part of screening exercise for deputy governorship candidate. This is reported on the dailies. If anybody Google PDP deputy governorship screening, it will pop up stories that will tell who and who participated on that one. That is on the 22nd of June. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
For somebody who said he has joined another party on the 18th of June. And there is a law, as Section 65 of the Constitution says, for you to be sponsored by a candidate, you must be a member of that political party for you to run. So, and you can't be a member of two political parties at the same time. So that is there because he deposed an affidavit under oath. Again, in Labour Party had the first primary for that time, which was part of our petition. The first primary they had was also the one that produced the Fagbemi Awamaride consensus. The letter to INEC, which was sent to Lagos Rec, was caused from the Lagos State chapter of Labour Party, signed by Fagbemi Awamaride himself, which contradicts the position of the Electoral Act that the state cannot organize. That one is there. Then the substitution primaries that also produced Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour was also a letter signed by Salako, the then caretaker chairman, to REC, although there was a letter, from the National Secretariat of Labour Party to INEC in Abuja. But that letter says the substitution primary will be held between 5th and 6th. So it never held. The subsequent letter that now went to INEC to notify them was from Lagos, which says it's going to hold on the 8th. Okay. Another letter changed to say it's going to hold on the 10th. Hold on, Ayo. And the last one is that the same primary, the substitution primary that they did and produced Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, had statutory delegates voted in that primary. This is part of INEC report. Statutory delegates, which is alien to Electoral Act of 2022, which are caretaker committee of the party, which also voted in that. So it makes it null. But finally, when we then request for Form EC9 of Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, we then discovered that the form that is submitted to INEC, that he filled as a candidate, because you get that form immediately after you are declared winner of a primary and submitted. We now discovered that the form was endorsed on the 4th of July under oath, which means that you're already a candidate before a primary election that produced you as candidate. So these are the things that were taken into the court, and the fact and the law. I've been issued. This is the position.
Thank you for detailing it. I'm sure, it's public records. People can read the detail of your petition and will definitely follow it. But I'd like to come back in terms of your relationship with your party, the PDP. So there have been some issues around you and some of the leaders or the elders in the party. So what's going on there? Because it seems as if your party isn't supporting you. And this has been even before elections. And now you are accusing some of the leaders and elders in the party of anti-party activities. For instance, Chief Bode George.
I won't accuse anybody.
No, you said Chief Bode. You said Chief Bode George.
Yeah?
Not here. No. I'm saying what you said in the past.
Oh.
That Chief Bode George worked against you during the gubernatorial elections, during the campaigns. He worked against you. So, and that's anti-party activities. In fact, the leaders. Let me just land. The leaders of the party or the elders released a communique, part of whom is former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Chief Mrs. Bokno Akerele, saying that you're new to the party, so they can understand perhaps why you're going out saying these things, but that you should have respect for the leadership of the party. A house divided against itself cannot stand. How do you hope to fight this cause without the backing or support of your party, or if you stand against your party? That's one. On the other hand, in this fight for, in terms of a petition, people are saying, how can you ask the court to declare you as winner when you came a distant third with 60, you had a little over 62,000 votes. The winner, the person who was declared winner, had 12 times your votes. The second had 5 times your votes. How can you defend that in terms of asking the court to declare you winner?
It's not me defending that. So let me start from the rear. It's not me defending that. The position of the law, Section 136 of the Electoral Act, subsection 2, did say that in a situation where the person with the highest number of votes is disqualified on the basis of the fact that he wasn't even qualified ab initio to run for that election, the second person who has the second highest number of votes, you understand, would also benefit from that one, provided that such a person also meets the requirement of the law and a member of the political party upon which is otherwise, the next person with the highest number of votes will be declared the winner. That's the position of the law.
Can you justify being declared with 62,000 votes?
You see, the first, second votes,
yes,
based on the disqualification, will be considered a wasted vote. That is the position of the law. I didn't write the law. Okay, will be considered a wasted vote, which means that all those votes are wasted votes. That's the position of the law.
Okay.
And that is our prayer, that look at this, and we have not done anything outside the position of the law. And every vote on that election will now start from the qualified candidate downwards. On the issue of my party, I've not had any interview after the election.
Yes, there is a statement by your head of media to this effect.
Now,
yes,
the statement was referring to the claim of our leader, you understand, and which now says it's not about whether this thing it is what it is. But I'm not going to discuss that here. Excuse me.
Okay.
Hold on. But what I'm telling you here is there is only one party. PDP is one, APC is one. And that party is at the national level. Chief Bode George was the one that came here on his own to say he worked for the Labour Party. I didn't say that. He was the one that came on national TV to say and defend how and why. So I didn't say that. He said that on his own. And he's not the national legal advisor of our party. The petition in question is a petition from the party and myself as the candidate of the party. So the party is standing by all the candidates of the party at this time of this process. So if somebody decides to do otherwise, doesn't mean the entire party is doing the same. I don't know if you understand. He's not the national chairman of the party. He's not this thing, but this is the position of the party.
So you're fine with the PDP? Your relationship with the PDP?
Absolutely. We have a good relationship with the PDP, even at the state level. Yes, of course, the APC was on rampage. During the election, they were buying everything they can buy. They were doing everything, all of that. Okay, but if you notice, just like I said, I haven't said anything since that time. I kept my cool. And that's because all of the things that I have put together coming into this election, I have to then bring them out and decided to file my petition look at what is the thing that we're going to be addressing, basically, and we'll put it there. So what we have now is a fact and a law. Let me tell you, people have expressed worry that, oh, in this country where they can go and tell WAEC to do otherwise, or they can tell the court, I say, look, WAEC coming to do otherwise, we then make nonsense of their scratch card that they have sold to everybody, to embassies, to institutions, and to now say, okay, okay, this otherwise, everybody can. That's why the result is put out there for public to also buy scratch card and verify. So them coming, this already put everybody on the spot to say, okay. And for the judiciary, a lot of people are expressing worry, oh, what do you like? For us, we can't but continue to express hope and to say that, look, the final word on this has to come from the judiciary, and we believe that, of course, they also live in this in this society. They saw what happened, and truly, it is the only arm of government now that can right wrongs of 2023 election, and they can do the needful and say, okay, can we just do the needful? Yes, I know there's serious pressure, even on the judiciary as we speak. I know they're under serious surveillance as well. But we believe that we'll get it right this time. And that's the only hope we can express. We can't go on the street and be burning houses and be doing this. We have to come and say, okay, let's do it. But these are facts and the law which we have presented for the petition tribunal.
Okay. I see what your counsel have tried to do. You know, they have weighing heavily on pre-election matters. Under the new law, under the Constitution, under the Electoral Act, you can bring up pre-election matters, even after election, as we saw in Bayelsa State, in PDP versus Eremeye and Gio, and as we saw in APC versus Dele Moses. But even if the court, the tribunal, grants your prayer with 62,000 of the votes, do you have this right?
Absolutely. Because the
first vote,
yes, of course, because
Lagos State.
Yes, of course, because the first votes are declared wasted votes. The first and the second votes, by the law, they are wasted votes. So they won't be part of the votes of 18th March. Okay, because there were no candidates, the party didn't.
I see what you mean. So nothing can stand on nothing.
Exactly.
If you are not a candidate, then it's immaterial.
You can benefit it.
So you have this optimism that you will win at the tribunal.
Of course we have, because what we have presented, like I said, a fact and the law. And you see, there are two major issues here on both sides, where somebody is saying, I'm a member of this political party, and he deposed to an affidavit, you know, that you joined this party this year, and you were caught doing other official matter with another party. Or is it the one with primary election that was held August 10, and you're from EC9 that you endorsed under oath had July 4th? Or is it the one who submitted his own from EC9 without the oath page? The only page that gives life to that document, which shows that person is not properly nominated.
But these facts, what you call facts, they have to be admitted and they have to be proven.
You see, they are documents submitted to INEC, which we have received the CTC and attached to the petition. And that's the only thing to say, okay, this document submitted to you under law, INEC is sanctioned to give whoever requests for CTC, you know, between 14 days. Let me give you one example. On this particular issue of 180 days, this is something that we have discovered 1 year ago, that APC did not submit within that time. And that time, which is part of what we added into that petition, we requested from INEC last year that they should give us the electronic generated receipts of APC's submission of their of their nomination form. And we wrote them to give us. They didn't give us. Why? It's because they don't have it, which shows that it is not there. I don't know if you understand. And that is why you then see a form submitted without that oath page, because it would have exposed them.
Well, in this petition that you have filed, you are the first petitioner.
Yes.
The People's Democratic Party is the second petition.
Yes.
You have the support of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos
Yes,
State.
of course. Yes, of course, we do.
Really?
Because,
With the leadership of the party?
Yes, of course.
Publicly disowning you more or less?
So, you see, when you speak about leadership of the party, it's not just one person. Okay? In my rights as the candidate of the party, I'm also the leader of the party. So constitutionally, as we speak in this state, I'm the leader of the party. Yes, constitutionally, as the candidate of the party. And we have other leaders as well. We have state ESCOs, we have, national officer from these states, who is also of the party. Okay, we have leaders across the local government. So, if one or two persons decide to say this is, it doesn't mean that the entire party. And when it comes to a petition or a judiciary matter like this, it is the office of the National Legal Advisor, that has the responsibility by law to file a petition. And this petition was filed between me as the candidate of the party and that office.
And very quickly, because we have to go, I just want to ask, because Dr. Bati had asked for your assessment of the elections. I know we dived straight in into your petition, but on the day of election, you had said that you had heard widespread reports of harassment, voter intimidation, violence, and you actually asked the security agencies to step up and take charge. Very, briefly, can you give us an assessment of the election, the conduct of the election, the process itself, even though you're not challenging that in your petition, but what was your sense? Because we had reports, Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour was also here and he spoke about the voter intimidation, especially from your main opposition party, the APC. Are you also agreeing with that, or did you have a different experience?
No, absolutely. Everybody saw what happened on election day. And I spoke about it. I spoke against it, as a matter of fact. I had a press conference on Monday, that's 2 days after the election, yes, where I spoke on the fact that you don't force yourself on the people. We saw how they went on rampage in the all the estates, when I use the word estate, closed estates in Lagos State, they deployed thugs there to scare people away and so that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. And you see, I have one fear, and I think at this point, it is only the judiciary that can rescue us from this. What's that fear? The moment these thugs that they use now discover that they are the determinants, of who win an election, you will see just them throwing up one of their own tomorrow, and they decide to take over, and that's it. And it's a leadership problem. That is how the current leadership structure of Lagos State wants that election to go. Okay, and judiciary can assist us in righting this wrong by ensuring that they look at the merit of all the cases and let Lagos State free for once. Because if care is not taken, one day, these guys will come and they'll take over everything, because by then they would have seen that, so we can do this on our own. Why do we need you? And they have few friends in the police. Before you know it, they take over, and that's it. And so it worries me. I don't know how you want to be proud superintending such an election, and all of you are dancing for victory. So what we said, winning is not victory. You understand? And losing is not defeat. And this is the outcome now. So the next process that we have now doesn't require the MCO Domo, doesn't require you buying and all of those things. It's strictly for the judiciary to look at the fact and the law and decide on this. And we're calling on them that, look, we know people are expressing fear. Tribunal, they will do this, they will do that. But for me, I'm expressing hope. And I believe that they will do this one, rescue Nigerian democracy. It's in their hands now. We believe that for the very first time, people should have it good, with the judiciary.
It's good to hear your side of the story, but, the process in Lagos, they will be quite interesting, because Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour and the Labour Party have also said they too are going to the same tribunal.
Yeah, they've gone.
And nothing also stops the APC from also filing their own
response,
petitions,
of course.
against other interested parties
response, yeah.
in that process. But we see how it all plays out. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.